Hey, fellow freaksters, it's Tim from the Moratorium. Just here to remind you that if you enjoy what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We're just a couple of small-town nerds trying to make sweet geek love to your ear holes, and we could use your support. Check out our website for movie reviews, links to social media, merch, movies, and more. You can find us at themoratorium.com. Now that that's out of the way, on with the shenanigans. Welcome to the Moratorium. I'm your host, Tim Kornman. Each week I will be joined by some esteemed, and I use that term loosely, movie watchers, and breaking down some of the weirdest and strangest films to ever, not necessarily, grace the big screen. These are the deep dive oddities and backroom bootlegs that appeal only to the die-hard film fans. So sit back and enjoy the ride into the dark vault of the movie moratorium. Every day's anew.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, every day's just kind of new and confusing. Like the ninth configuration.
Yeah. Oh, well. I'm just looking here.
Kind of plotzing about.
Yeah, just flipping around IMDb.
That's what I'm doing. I'm looking up Alejandro Rey right now. I just can't get enough of that guy.
I am on Wilford Brimley.
You're on Wilford Brimley?
I'm using him as an ottoman right now.
Oh, my God. Grandpa Brimley. There's just a part that like kind of sticks in your back, like your lower back, you know?
I can use his mustache to clean my feet. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's like one of those. Yeah, it's like a boot brush. Is he still with us?
He's still alive.
He? Oh my God, he got that Cocoon stuff going on.
And I was reading that about Cocoon and some of his trivia.
Are you saying Cocoon?
Cocoon. Cocoon.
Exactly. It's like the Lake Heron or something.
Wilford Brimley's IMDb stuff here. Under the trivia, it says he was known to loosen up castmates with small practical jokes between takes. For example, while filming Cocoon: The Return, The Return, Courtney Cox was caught off guard by whoopee cushion pranks.
Okay.
Good job, Wilfred.
Grandpa, no.
It mentions here that in Cocoon, how am I not saying that right?
I thought you were really coming down hard on that second, but that's the way I say it too. It's just weird hearing someone else say cocoon. You do want to kind of like, it's like as if you were startled. Cocoon. Something like slam behind you or something.
Say cacophony.
I don't think that's a different thing.
All right.
Cocoon. Maybe it's that cuck is kind of him. maybe that's why I'm having like a strong reaction.
Totally different movie.
Yeah, Cocoon. Oh my God, we've got to get that made.
It states here in the trivia that Wilford Brimley was only 49 years old when he was cast as a senior citizen for Cocoon.
God, he looked way older than that.
Exactly. He was at least 20 years younger than any of the actors playing the elderly characters.
Yeah, like Don Amici, and he was fucking 100 years old in that movie.
Don Amici was dust in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Don Amici in the wind. Anichi in the wind.
He deserves a spotlight, but this is just a little mini spotlight on him. Of course, we know him for the Quaker Oats commercials and that he has diabetes.
And The Thing.
His first acting roles in the 60s was a riding extra stuntman in westerns.
Okay.
I don't know exactly. I guess he was just liked riding horses. He was I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think he's, famously like a country dude.
Yeah. He was a farmer, a rodeo rider, who after gaining weight became a blacksmith and then a film actor.
Okay, wait a minute. So when you reached a certain weight,
That's it.
you turn into a blacksmith?
That's it.
I guess I'll go be a blacksmith now.
And here's the pinnacle of information I didn't know.
Okay.
He's a talented jazz singer who's
Oh my
recorded
God.
several albums and played successful club engagements.
I did not need to know that. That's like Duke Silver on Parks and Rec.
He had a few songs out here. One of them was called This Love of Mine. And another one, which is on YouTube, you can look it up.
I won't.
Called I've Grown Accustomed to Her Face.
Mm.
Such jazz hits.
Panty droppers, all of them.
Aren't you a better person now?
I don't know. Be harder to sleep tonight. We'll have to do a different podcast where we guess actors.
A game show. What has he done before?
Right.
Is
Or
it A?
are they dead or alive? We'll just call it dead or alive. You absolutely can't fathom that this person would still be alive, and they really are.
And tune in next week for Dead or Alive. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Let's call it the Cocoon Cast.
Cocoon.
Should we actually say who we are and what we're doing?
Sure.
Just as a...
That's a formality.
yes. To create kind of a structure to build upon.
All right. So welcome to the Moratorium.
Thank you.
I'm partly your host, Tim Kornman.
And I'm partly the other host, Jason Walker. Just watching some weird movies over here. Man, this one's a good one.
And I chose this one because I wanted to see it, and I've never seen it before.
Oh, interesting.
And I need to see it many more times and fewer times than I already have.
Well, I have to tell you, I have seen this movie multiple times, and it doesn't get any easier to understand. There's a lot of things at play, especially with the opening segment. William Peter Blatty was really into some heady stuff.
I think he had to be just coked up.
I'm sure that's a part of it. You do know that he is in the movie, right?
Is he?
Uh-huh.
I did not realize that.
Yeah. The Ninth Configuration. It's William Peter Blatty after The Exorcist.
Pretty quickly off the heels of The Exorcist, wasn't it?
Yes. He was the writer, director, and producer of this movie. So, and this is also adapted from a book that he wrote called Twinkle, Twinkle, Killer Kane, with an exclamation. It is hard to say when you're on the spot. Twinkle, Twinkle, Killer Kane. I'm so glad that they turned it into the Ninth Configuration because it is a really silly title. I told you I've read it a couple of times. Mm-hmm. It's like a novella, It's like a short story, basically.
And is it close to this?
This is like singularly his vision, and the movie is pretty much exactly what the book is.
And did they break down the characters as well as they did in...
You mean establishing just
right.
Stacy Keach and Scott Wilson? And yeah, basically that's how it happened. This movie does have a kind of twist at the end, Wouldn't you say it's kind of, that's what the whole movie is building towards, is kind of the twist at the end?
Sure.
That's kind of what I remember from watching it when it came on HBO or something late at night, was that kind of Shyamalan, switcheroo at the end.
But I would say the first half of this is easily a comedy and so quick-witted.
Yeah, you really need to dissect the dialogue because he really kind of Tarantino'd it, where everything is just kind of dripping with meaning, everything they're saying is just kind of like a I don't know. Just kind of trailed off there. But I mean, we need to actually like kind of get into the. If we could get past the first scene, some of this other stuff would make more sense. I mean, that's what William Peter Blatty does, is just the religious iconography and stuff.
The ninth configuration reads, a former Marine arrives at a mental asylum housed in a remote castle to run it.
That's a horrible sentence.
Yes, it is. There he attempts to rehabilitate the patients by letting them act out their craziest fantasies and desires.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. That's a horrible... Is that like the back of the...
That's what it says on IMDb under description of the movie.
Wow, interesting, because I just can't...
That's the very basic.
Yes.
Let's tell our audience right now, too, that they can watch this on Amazon Prime. And it should be available on many platforms for rather cheap. And Amazon Prime is probably the easiest.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now.
And I read there were several different versions of this movie. That's actually in the trivia here on IMDb. It states that anywhere from 99 minutes to 118 minutes. I think that's one we're watching now is the 118 minutes. So,
Yeah, you're right.
William Peter Blatty has said that he considers this movie to be the true sequel to The Exorcist. I don't know if you really looked that up. I mean, I know we're going to be talking a lot about The Exorcist and Exorcist 2 and Exorcist 3 during this movie.
Yeah, I love it when we say we're going to do one movie and then just basically review one that's adjacent to it.
So Ferris is taking the day off?
Yes, exactly. His dad in that movie is fucking great, too. Oh, anyway. I'm just going to have it playing in the background. When they do the floats.
When he's not singing.
Right. Okay, I'm good. I'll watch that later.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into this very opening scene of the ninth configuration.
Yes, which explains everything and leaves you with no questions at all.
Right. Which, here we see the castle. Oh,
yes.
God, my God.
Now, this is already confusing. Because why are they in I mean, I think it is quick to explain that. Where are they, first of all?
It was supposed to be in northern New England area, I believe, which is really not where they are.
Right. That explanation as to why they are in like this medieval looking castle is that it is a set, right? Like a movie set?
It was filming locations, Vienna and Budapest, and Castle Eltz in Germany, ELTZ.
I thought that they explained it in the movie that because the entire thing is about mental health, and like PTSD and stuff. And why would you make your patients come to this super creepy location and then have them spill their guts? Something explains it, and I couldn't tell you why.
Well, they explain, I believe, that there was they were allowed to be in this thing for free, in this castle for free.
Yes.
That supposedly somebody had this, and it was like one sentence in there that somebody had this moved over brick by brick and rebuilt.
Right. There's kind of an awkward thing to explain why they are, because it looks awesome, and it fits with when Scott Wilson like slams open those big freaking doors,
over and over again.
Yeah, over and over again. I love him. I mean, he is really he's the main character. I mean, Kane is the main character. Stacy Keach
and Scott Wilson are the shining moments in this film.
Yeah.
In the trivia here, Stacy Keach and Scott Wilson were last-minute replacements for Nicole Williamson and Michael Moriarty.
Okay, great.
Who were originally slated to play the roles of Colonel Kane and Captain Cutshaw.
Wow, I can't.
Different movie. A whole different
Yeah,
movie.
for sure.
Do you know who Nicole Williamson is?
Yeah, he's in Exorcist 3. He's the priest at the very beginning that saves the bird that ends up dying, and but he's the one that confronts Jason Miller's character.
He is Father Morning.
Yeah, Father Morning, right?
He was also Merlin in Excalibur.
Yeah, dude, his acting in that is everyone should watch that movie. That is the coolest movie. Surely he was in one of the Lord of the Rings movies because he is like a fucking magician.
Yeah,
he is like.
No, he died in 2011. But yeah, he probably still could have made it. Oh, he's 6'2".
Is it Williamson or Williams?
Williamson.
Williamson. I get Nicole Williamson and not Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who's the other guy? The other tall. Well, I mean the guy from the original Exorcist.
Max von Sydow?
Yeah, Max von Sydow.
May he rest in peace. No, he was in Spawn, though.
Yeah, sure. A lot of people were.
He also played Little John in Robin and Marion with Sean Connery and Aubrey Hepburn.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Anyway, very interesting. It could have been a totally different movie. Michael Moriarty playing Captain Cutshaw would be totally strange.
I do love Michael Moriarty, but it's like he's not a great actor. I think he's just kind of a guy, And then Larry Cohen was like, I'm going to put your fishy face in all of my movies. You're the guy. You're the guy I want.
But truthfully, Scott Wilson, he nails everything in this.
Yeah.
He was nominated for a Golden Globe for this film.
He's just such a dramatic stage actor, it feels like.
And maybe it's because of his eyes. He really is.
Yeah.
He tears up many, many times in this film. You can see it. I had to go back and look at pictures of Exorcist 3 with Scott Wilson, basically smoking in every scene.
I watched that not too long ago. Just like hotboxing that cigarette while he's reading off of that little card. I love that scene. In the context of the movie, like, it's so creepy that he has like this prepared thing that he's reading. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that. Oh, Don Gordon is in that movie too. It's boobies. That's all I can think about when I hear Don Gordon's name. It's like it's big old boobies. But anyway.
So back to Ninth Configuration here. You wanted to talk about the opening scene.
Yes. I mean, I think that's just the most shocking imagery. But then I think, like, when did 2001 come out?
2001? No, that was we talked about this before. It was like 1970.
68.
No,
are you kidding me?
We did that last time we talked about it. It was like, really?
It's just so wild that it looks like that. Man, that's insane.
All we see here is really the space shuttle liftoff and a giant moon coming in the background.
Yeah.
And they're boarding the launch and he's coming out just freaking the fuck out.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a dream.
Right.
And we come back later and we see the actual scene that was in the trailer that was really kind of a...
Right. That was... He actually did flip out and they had to carry him on.
Which brings me to the point. Now, he wakes up in bed and he doesn't have that sit up in bed, sweating, screaming moment. But you see that so many times in movies.
Yeah.
How many times have you sat up straight in bed from having a nightmare, and sweating profusely? How many times?
Sweating profusely?
Well, normally sweating.
Okay, because
normal sweating for you, right?
Normal sweat levels. Never, but I also do
hot yoga.
Yeah, hot yoga and just but I do when I wake up from one of those, I just kind of scan the room just to make sure there's not like a Slender Man or a Candy Man or something like that, I'm realizing now we need to hurry up and talk about the plot of this, leaving out one major factor, but because if we just keep on talking about it like the plot makes sense, then we're never going to get through it. It's an insane asylum, and Stacy Keach is there. Ed Flanders is in charge. There's a guy in this that is I think he's a real military guy because he's the actual,
right.
kind of military presence there. There's only him.
And his face goes a long way.
Yes, it's like a real like hound dog face. I'm trying to find his freaking name and I can't.
I mean, we burst into insanity.
Yeah, it doesn't give you much to work with right off the bat. You have to kind of, through context, get some of it. You're just meant to just buy all this. Yeah, but from the moment that Stacy Keach gets out of the car, it's like kind of like a Monty Python sort of.
Yeah, I buy that.
Everybody is saying like absurd things, That's the way he wrote that book, and I just have to imagine that that's just kind of a, 70s thing. Okay, William Peter Blatty looks like a fucking Dracula.
Is he in this lineup at the beginning? Because they all kind of line up and they do a military thing. But Scott Wilson comes out, and I love his hat.
And he's got like a Seussian kind of hat.
It's awesome. And immediately he's breaking them out to doing all sorts of weird crap.
Yes.
Is William Peter Blatty in that lineup? Is he one of the kooks or is he one of the doctors?
Trying to freaking can't find my...
Which tab?
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got like a million of them. Okay.
Lieutenant Frome is who William Peter Blatty was.
When Stacy Keach first arrives there,
Okay,
he pretends to be a doctor. He's got like a stethoscope and a...
Oh, is he the one that steals his pants?
Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't get that. Oh.
Yes. That's
who steals the real doctor's pants, which is great. Ed Flanders is awesome. He really is.
Everybody is fucking great.
There is so much quick dialogue even at the beginning of this film.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that's the thing, is that we're not going to talk about every single line, but like it does have some really good. Well, it's a asylum, right?
Here's your guy, though. Did you find his name?
No.
He's doing the walk in front of the soldiers type bit, and everybody's wearing a different hat and a different getup. Do you see the statue behind him?
Of course.
Is it like Death just sitting in a chair with a cloaked man, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking mop dog is sitting in his lap.
Right. Yeah. It's a what kind of dog is that? This is really great. And why is it so foggy in there? Did they just like turn on a smoke machine? And
throughout the entire film, it's raining.
Yes. And okay, I'm sorry. This is just a fundamental thing that I should know about this movie. Their location, are they supposed to be in like the fucking Swiss Alps or like Germany or Austria or something?
It said that they were supposed to be in New England area.
New England, in America.
Yes.
So this is a giant set that was built for something?
No, I think they just filmed everything in Germany for the outside and in Austria. I mean, they had 3 different filming locations, and we're talking about Austria and Germany. I think they filmed everything over there. In fact, they said that most of the production cost was actually funded through Pepsi.
Okay. Because Stacy Keach like drives a biker's head like straight through a fucking Pepsi sign or something.
There's like one small scene.
Somebody's drinking a pop.
Yeah, somebody trying to get it was Spinell trying to get a soda while he's dressed as a nun, right?
Yes, he is dressed as a nun at some point.
It is so bizarre. that freaking opening song goes on
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it feels kind of like
It's way out of place. Really trying to make you feel like it's America.
I guess.
The film was partially financed by PepsiCo, the maker of soft drinks such as Pepsi. Thank you for mansplaining that, IMDb.
You know, this movie, there's going to be someone like scissoring a young Vietnamese kid's head off. Are you sure?
Back to the film.
That is odd, you know? I mean, obviously, like, they probably would let William Peter Blatty do anything after everybody and their dog went and saw Exorcist, right?
And it made so much money.
Yeah, it just seems like weird that they would, I don't know, this whole movie could be done on 2 sets, but they want to do it in fucking like Budapest or something.
And to sell that this is America, we have a biker gang that cuts off Stacy Keach's ride.
Yeah, also, like, you know, it's not like you're using a lot of people. No, that's confusing to me.
Yeah, really strange. Anyway, moving on, we finally getting Stacy Keach to the castle.
Mm-hmm.
And every shot of the exterior of this castle is just covered in fog.
Smoky? Yeah.
Smoky.
Okay, that's enough.
Is it Scott Wilson that gets all of the patients to start singing "You Are My Sunshine"?
Yeah, probably. He seems to be like
he's the ringleader.
He's the one that's kind of in charge of.
That kind of makes sense with that hat, and he had a cane, and he was addressing the quote unquote troops.
I think Neville Brand is the like dog-faced Marine guy.
Yeah, I was looking at him, but his picture didn't really fit. And
yeah, that's him. Man, he's got a real roast face, you know, like a chuck roast.
So much skin.
I am so sorry if we did not address this before, but now that I'm looking at the X-ray on IMDb, Alejandro Rey is in this movie. So
he's right there in the front. He's the painter.
That had nothing to do with anything, right?
No, just Alejandro Rey was in Terror Vision.
Yes, but you weren't using that to get to this movie or anything.
No, we got here through Spinell.
Isn't that weird, though, that he's in this?
And we talk about Robert Loggia so often.
Oh, my gosh. Was he ever under 40? Because every movie, or 50, for that matter. Yeah, Tom Atkins is also in this movie.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a big role. So this is Blatty here smoking a cigarette. I guess I didn't recognize him without a mustache.
Oh, my God, dude.
So he's smoking a cigarette, standing next to Stacy Keach, just telling about how fucking insane everybody is, just wearing his stethoscope and a freaking doctor's coat. And
yeah, but he seems to be like someone that would want to give horses steroids before like a race or something so that, you know, like try to...
He has that face.
He's terrifying looking.
He says, some crazy new school of psychiatry. These guys are nuttier than a wagon load of pralines.
I like that. I don't not like that. I mean, Stacy Keach usually has a mustache, you know?
To hide what? Why would he have a mustache?
Look, I think it makes sense, although it's weird. He has it's a hair lip, right? Can you use that type of terminology? I don't know. Not a lip doctor, but
so I love this. They take away William Peter Blatty then because the real doctor shows up, and I love that Ed Flanders is not wearing pants through most of this film.
Yeah,
it's hilarious, which makes him even seem a little bit more kooky than he is. He's a great doctor.
Yeah, that's what they're going for, you know, is that he's, you know, spent so much time that now he's like...
But he mentions actually that he's only been here a week.
Right. I think he was being sarcastic.
Oh, was it? And at one point he said he had to drink a fifth of scotch to get to sleep at night.
Jesus, that's a real problem. Now, wait a minute. That line, you don't think that they just all seem so like everybody knows what the routine is. Do you think he really was there just for a week?
I don't know.
Because he has to have been, they have to set that up for the ending. So maybe it was, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. We may never know. There's probably one line in the movie that tells you.
This script was probably just fucking so loaded. It was...
It doesn't feel like them... Now that would be like, they'd be kind of improving, like the type of lines that they had.
I will say it's funny. And then after a little bit, you kind of start questioning your own sanity.
Yes.
And he does such a really good job at setting that tone.
Mm-hmm. It's like if crazy people had a language that only they could speak.
Right.
And like when Scott Wilson kind of draws Jason Miller off and they're just looking at Stacy Keach like, we're going to break this guy down or he's going to become one of us. Which is kind of what happens,
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Scott Wilson almost looks like a Willy Wonka there, too.
Yes, he is. He is. And there's Ed Flanders with no pants. Yeah. And then there's a weird exterior shot that's kind of...
with a lot of imagery.
Yeah, really creepy iconography.
Yes. Great. Good word.
There's a giant, like, subway poster of Bela Lugosi as Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of weird paintings. Moses Gunn, apparently. Oh, no, that's... Holy crap. I really did think that was Moses Gunn. It was just Robert Loesch in blackface.
As Moses Gunn is just watching over him.
Yeah, he's like...
with distaste. Knowing that this is not right.
Got so much more rhythm than this guy. And there's Tom Atkins. His pants are fucking buckled over his belly button. Yeah, there's William Peter Blatty again at the card table. Who is the guy in the big fur coat?
That is Alejandro Rey.
Oh, are you kidding me with long hair?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my
long
God.
hair. He's always painting.
He's my favorite actor.
He is so good in this too. But so much quick dialogue.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep up with. It's something you want to savor.
That's the only part of this movie that kind of wears thin by the end of it.
So you say this is Moses Gunn who wants to be Superman, right? So
yes.
We're panning across the bedroom, the beds and of everybody, and you see kind of their character. Did you not just realize he was putting on his clothes while in a fake phone booth?
No, I did not notice that.
Well, he's got an S on it written in like Sharpie on his shirt.
I did not see that.
I did not
all.
realize that.
That other guy looks so familiar. The guy that was like chipping away at the parts of the castle. He is like a Jeremy Piven looking dude.
This guy, his name is George DeCenzo.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him. Who was in
Back to the Future.
His dialogue in this part is just wacky as well.
Yeah.
He tried to prove that you could move through walls, but he failed miserably.
Yeah.
He tried to run through one and failed miserably, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And Stacy Keach is just like looking at him like, Ed Flanders has a fifth of J&B.
Mm-hmm. It's just like he was making a JDB, which is, was that Jack Daniels and Pepto?
Ugh. Tell me something. Is his hair red? He has a strange hair thing.
Yes. It almost looks like he's wearing a hairpiece, but he's not.
He looks like one of those iPhone filters, like when you want to turn your, like, have an old man head on like a baby or something, He has a strange face. And there he is again in his boxers.
He took a shot of whatever that was. It was like crushed up aspirin and J&B, and then looked at the skull that was on his desk and said, "Don't blame me. I told them not to operate."
I mean, that's good.
But again, just you almost question the sanity of everybody, even the ones who are not insane.
Yeah.
Scott Wilson bursts through the doors and part of the ceiling kind of just rains down. It happens every time.
Right. I guess they made that happen, you know. It's just every time he comes into the room, a little piece of the plaster is going to come down.
It's just a Seinfeld moment.
Yeah, so Scott Wilson is just so awesome. And, you know, it feels like a play or something, you know.
So intense. Maybe he didn't get the notoriety that he should have at a younger age.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, you know, maybe nobody really knows him until he was playing in...
Yeah, he had to age into, like, his...
He says, all right, Cutshaw, please sit down. And you hear a crunching sound. Camera pans over, and he's sitting on Ed Flanders' lap and talks about how he had a bag of Fritos in his pocket. He sits down several times in the scene, and you hear the crunching still. It just cracked me up.
It's like a Looney Tunes episode. It's like a Bugs Bunny.
It's so subtle, though. Ed Flanders is just in the background, just chilling out in his boxers. His boxers, his black socks, and his nice shoes, and his doctor's coat. It's later on in this scene, I think, that he tells Scott Wilson to sit down again, and Ed Flanders stands up so he can't sit in his lap. It's just
pretty good.
Great.
I love Jason Miller in this too. He really
he hammed it up.
When they're putting together the play and stuff, or the musical, I guess, he's just, and you know, I guess you're meant to think the entire time that they might be like clingering it, you know, they're kind of faking that they're crazy. I mean, Scott Wilson he just had a nervous breakdown, basically.
Scott Wilson forces Stacy Keach to do a Rorschach test on him. And the first one, he doesn't even look at the picture. What do you see? An old woman in funny clothes blowing poison darts at a buffalo. But then Ed Flanders says bison. Like, he's like, I saw the same thing.
Right. He's correcting him. I like the way this works, like especially this scene with, you know, Stacy Keach on the desk and Scott Wilson and Ed Flanders in his boxers.
But is it because they could set up Scott Wilson gives him the necklace here, right?
Yes, his dog tags. Or
no,
whatever.
It wasn't his dog tag. It was a St. Christopher necklace or something like that.
Right. Yes.
Because he said, I saw you looking at it, and I don't want you to come in and try to steal it from me in the middle of the night, and, you know, whatever. But instead, he's like, you keep that. I'm going to tape this book. The book was I Remember Mama by Oedipus Rex. Oedipus Rex. Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's almost like
it's a joke within a joke.
Not beat poetry.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just a weird. William Peter Blatty, all of his books are like this. What they're saying to each other in this movie is pretty damn close to what the dialogue was in the book.
So Stacy Keach reads the back of this necklace. There's something engraved on the back. And
oh, man.
I am a Buddhist. In case of an accident, call a llama.
Yes.
And he just kind of stares off like,
I will call that llama. I love that.
That is solid advice.
He's like, well, obviously. Of course I'll call a llama.
All right, so break down Jason Miller's character in this.
I honestly was just thinking, I don't know why he is there. He becomes the producer and director of the play, but
a play. Explain the play to our audience.
Well, now wait a minute. I haven't heard it in a minute.
Well, he is trying to put on at least
they're doing Macbeth, right?
One or two Shakespearean plays,
just kind of mashed together. Midsummer Night's Dream and kind of Hamlet and or Spamlet. Hamlet 2.
Hamlet 2. That's good. The dog's name is Sir Lawrence.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that dog. Scott Wilson, he's spitting and like his eyes are just wild. He is fucking giving it everything.
There we go. Lieutenant Reno is adapting Shakespeare's plays for dogs.
Oh, that's right, for dogs. I forgot.
That's the whole thing. There's a lot of dogs in this later. And he has this whole bit.
Does Stacy Keach okay that?
Yes, he does.
He actually got him the dogs.
Jason Miller says basically somebody's got to do it. And Joe Spinell comes in with like this little puppy.
I don't like seeing him with a puppy.
No.
I'm just going to put it out there. Do not like him holding that puppy. Unacceptable.
Joe Spinell just kind of walks in and out of different scenes plenty of times. And I guess I was wrong. It wasn't Joe Spinell that was in the Nun's Habit. This is George DeCenzo.
Oh, it was the other guy.
He's the one with multiple personalities.
Jeremy Piven.
Right.
Yeah.
He just happens to state it several times that I have multiple personalities. This is one of my personalities.
Right. Which crazy people do. They introduce you to their different... I'm just watching Scott Wilson scream at Stacy Keach. His college sweater is like buttoned onto his, like military, his BDUs or whatever. Weird. Anyway, I don't know why.
Scott Wilson has some great costumes in this.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I do love this castle. This is a great set.
Yes. Yeah, it is awesome.
It's huge.
Almost like a Simpsons thing, like when he shuts that door, a little bit of plaster comes down.
Every time. But this is very much a cathedral type setting almost,
I just imagine that they added those kind of Grim Reaper looking hooded,
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe I should do some research on this.
Well, let's
castle.
Not,
I'll get my research assistant on it.
Oh.
I've got Stacy Keach doing some like research and like actually writing down notes, and I think he's writing down shock treatment is curative. So he's coming to the realization that these guys are crazy, but for some reason decides to let them act out their fantasies even further because they're already doing that.
Yeah,
they're already acting on their insanity.
And he finally gets his pants back.
And the dog tries to get him.
Yeah. I like that when he's like fighting with the dog because there's no dog there.
I'm in the middle of a conversation with Tom Atkins here and Stacy Keach. And Tom Atkins is looking really almost fit and sober. He looks sober. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to reach for.
Silver fox. Yeah.
Tell me where you are.
Jason Miller and Joe Spinell are working out the details of the play. Every one of Jason Miller's lines are just insane.
He did a good job on creating these different characters and giving them different attributes that they could build on and run with. I mean, were the characters very separated in the book?
Yeah, I mean, you knew.
It wasn't hard to keep up with them?
Anybody that wasn't Scott Wilson's character, it was basically just random non sequitur sentences that, just Stacy Keach is still wearing the shirt with the
sleeve ripped.
Torn. It's weird. And every time I see it, I'm like, why don't you change your shirt, man?
Was Scott Wilson the one that ripped his shirt, just kind of came in and
I think so.
I'm not even sure why he did that.
I'm not either. And that also kind of feels like maybe that's a choice that they made, that he did it on accident maybe, and that's why he's walking around.
Well,
I don't know. It's just weird. But it also kind of makes him seem like more vulnerable. I guess that he is maybe just more intelligent than the rest of the people at the asylum, because he just seems like he knows what's going on and just is making this like huge distraction.
Well, he does have a good moment later when he explains why he believes that he had this breakdown while on, is it a tarmac? What do we call it?
Yeah. No, that sounds more like NASCAR or something.
Is that right?
Dick Trickle. Isn't that his name? I don't know.
It was Cole Trickle.
Cole Trickle. I thought it was Dick
Trickle. That's the porn version.
Please. Dick is my father's name. Call me Junior Trickle.
Oh, shit. Dick Trickle.
That's a guy's name, I think.
I'm sure it is.
Oh, and like Rubbin is racing?
In that porn about NASCAR.
That was a porno, wasn't it? Days of Thunder. Anyway,
I'm at 39 minutes.
Okay, let's keep trucking.
And there's a scene that you get kind of a weird feeling about Stacy Keach's character is because he looks at that necklace that he has from Scott Wilson and he holds the chain up in front of his face and he just kind of stares at it for a moment and has this kind of flashback type moment for a brief second before Scott Wilson busts in the door again.
Right.
In beach attire.
Please close the door, Krebs. Thank you. And it's just like, yeah. And also you have to think, I mean, not like spoiler alert or anything, but there is kind of a twist at the end. Surely you kind of caught on to that by now.
You kind of get the feeling that he's not right in the head.
When Tom Atkins is talking to him, Tom Atkins knows him too. He's in on it.
Is he okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's why he just is looking at him like, Stacy Keach is acting like they've just met and, he actually, okay, there's Scott Wilson in his shorts.
It actually says swim fins flapping.
Yeah. Swim fins slapping is what mine says.
There you go. Slapping on the floor.
Yeah.
Then I made you a mud pie.
Why does he call him Hud?
I think his name was Hudson.
Oh, okay.
So he's just trying to give him his own nickname. No, because his name's actually Vincent.
Right. Should be like Vinny. I love that him at the desk while people just, kind of, he just gives them all that same.
He's very kind of solemn, trying to take in everything. And later we see it because he says he hasn't slept because he's letting his doors stay open so that the patients could come see him whenever they need.
Which is basically just everybody just coming in and doing a little weird skit. I was just watching Scott Wilson in that scene and he tears up at the end. Like, I mean, he is in this like 1,000%.
I'm watching Joe Spinell and Jason Miller just looking at basically headshots of dogs.
Yeah. Horatio. They're trying to. I love it. Horatio has to be a greyhound. Laertes Pekingese.
Get me a greyhound. A chow. That's William Peter Blatty in the background checking that mop dog with a stethoscope.
Yeah. Yep. That's him.
I think he's dead. He's suffocating. The dog doesn't do much, but every time somebody walks by, you hear kind of a growl or
right. Yeah. That scene, God, I understand the castle that they're filming in. It looks so cool. Jason Miller's just walking around in like scrubs, kind of barefoot, and there's just all the arches and shit behind him, and it almost looks like a Hammer movie or something,
Or every Puppet Master movie.
Or every Puppet Master movie. I assume that's just Charles Band's house, and they're just like filming everything there.
Everything.
Now Scott Wilson is full on Willy Wonka.
Yep. He was in the tree.
With the hat, bucket of paint.
Made no sense.
I want you to drop like an overripe mango. Don't know what that means.
Robert Loggia is just basically screaming at Stacy Keach.
Yeah.
Because he's in the Air Force and he wants his flying belt.
He should be restrained.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
like
so intense.
It's amazing that he's walking around.
And still, William Peter Blatty is walking around and he's touching different people and looking at his watch. He's like checking pulses.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that either.
I think earlier I saw him grab on to one of the statue's wrists as if he was checking their pulse.
Well, I mean, and it is interesting that this is a all-male cast, There's no chicks anywhere.
And we're glad to say there is no nudity.
Yes. Unless you count Robert Loggia when he's in that hospital, Johnny. Oh, thank God. But seriously, he is in his 50s when he's in his 20s. I love William Peter Blatty. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, he's not doing anything doctorly at all. He's just wandering around and checking things. Oh, man.
I tried to look into this.
You mean what the ninth configuration actually means? Like,
Yes.
It is a thing.
Is it?
Yes. And it's really complicated, and everything that I read about it was like, you know what? I don't even have the energy to, it's just a theory about, I guess, how life began,
Okay.
I guess there's 9 proteins that had to come together in order to create life on Earth and
Proteins
stuff.
of the ninth configuration?
I mean, I guess they were configured somehow. This is a very, like, Kubrickian scene.
Yes.
I think they stole a lot of that from 2001,
It was actually in the trailer.
I mean, it's probably the most, like, iconic part of the movie, I guess.
Was it on the cover of the VHS?
Yeah.
We have a spaceman, which we can only assume is Cut Shaw, or is supposed to resemble Cut Shaw, maybe.
Yeah.
Putting the American flag on what we consider maybe the moon, but it looks like it's...
It looks like it's a set.
It is a set.
From like Twilight Zone or something that they just had already made. Well, and also it has like kind of monolithic looking things.
And he puts the flag into the ground and turns around. Is he taking a picture of a Jesus on the cross on the moon?
I don't know.
I didn't see a flash, so maybe he wasn't taking a picture.
That didn't necessarily have to be Jesus either. Could have just been another long-haired guy with a loincloth.
A random guy crucified on the moon.
Okay. I'm in. That's why the whole movie was made, I think.
The midpoint of the film is when it turns a little bit from the comedy and starts getting a little bit into...
Yeah.
Well, maybe after he gets everybody all the things that they want.
Yeah.
Does he put in a requisition for just a number of things, which include paint supplies, dogs for the...
Dog costumes.
SS uniforms for the personnel in the asylum.
Do they do the play? I don't remember.
No, they never actually get off on the play.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, I didn't remember. I would love to see that, though. The scene where he's kind of like talking to Ed Flanders, and I do like that you can kind of see that look on his face. It's kind of killing him that he has had this break,
And maybe I didn't understand because really Ed Flanders leaves the room, shuts the door, and kind of has a little breakdown.
Yes.
He starts crying
and we have said this is his brother, right?
Right. Well, we don't know until later on. It kind of hinted.
All right, so that was a big spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Just cut that part out.
It did hint to that because he was talking about a dream that his brother had.
Yes.
That became his dream.
Right.
That was what Stacy Keach said. Yeah.
That's fucked up.
He dreamt his brother's dream after hearing about it.
Because he described it to him. That's weird.
Yeah.
Also, when they're talking in his kind of bedroom with that big, like, ornate bed and shit. It's kind of like a confessional because they have that wooden, like the windows behind them are.
I see that.
It's all about Catholicism too, you know?
Right.
Yeah, that's a cool scene where he's talking about the dream. He's got such an interesting face. And he's a good actor too. Let's get through this. I mean, I understand. I love the snappy dialogue. I love Jason Miller.
Now, that one guy is in the nun's habit,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to get a soda out of the Pepsi machine. That's the only scene with the Pepsi machine, but he's like holding up the crucifix as if it's possessed.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's cool. I just saw that.
And Joe Spinell just walks in after Jason Miller, and just the background just kind of taking notes.
Yes. Yeah, probably don't really mean anything.
I would love to see those notes.
Neville Brand, his face started out weird and just got rubberier as time went by. He's an Eaten Alive, you know, Toby Hooper.
Right. I want Jason Miller's shirt here. It's like Vendome Liquors.
Yes, it's a liquor store shirt.
All right. Let's do fast forward a minute. All right. Very good.
Yeah, and I mean, all we're missing is I do really like the energy of Joe Spinell taking notes, Jason Miller explaining this in a cape.
Basically, he's going on and on about the dichotomy of a character within a Shakespeare play to then scold the dog and tell him, "Told you, Sir Lawrence, this is how it's supposed to be done. Do not question me."
Right. Yeah, Sir Lawrence is being a real diva.
Sir Lawrence, you don't know shit. Scott Wilson stops Jason Miller outside of his office and says, "Did he buy it?" And Jason Miller says, "Did he buy it? I think I bought it."
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, wait a minute, are they just crazy? Besides that, you don't know whether they're, you know, actually crazy or, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then it's also one of those things like, well, who's the crazy? You know, like we're locked in here. Right. And he's got a cool cape.
Yeah.
I love him.
But Stacy Keach does stop and say to Ed Flanders that Hamlet theory holds up.
Right. He's been listening to all of this.
He's like, you know what?
He's right. We should make the dog president. He does go through a lot of this movie with that look on his face, just like, I'm open to anything. Maybe a dog could be president.
They've ordered the supplies to indulge the men, in which we go straight into the aftermath, and your guy, the meaty face, just saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ."
That's what I'm going to dream of tonight, is just big faces coming right at me in 3D. Ed Flanders alone is like a face and a half. And then Stacy Keach is like Two-Face, you know?
And I love this. They're outside of the casting office that Jason Miller is trying to cast for Julius Caesar. And he says, "You brought me a dog that has a lisp." We have the scene of Alejandro Rey on a lift scaffolding going up towards the ceiling.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching right now.
And he just simply says, "You are out of uniform," because I guess he knows that everybody should be wearing the SS uniforms because they're doing the Great Escape.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. That is the one thing that makes sense.
Okay. So, no, I had to back this up. So, Stacy Keach and Jason Miller are just talking outside of the casting office while our guy is in a Superman costume, but it has a big N
Moses
on it.
Gun. Right.
And here comes Robert Loggia in a jetpack across the top of the screen.
Yeah.
Just thoroughly bizarre. And they all just kind of look like, did we just see that? because he crashes it.
Right. It would almost like make more sense if everybody was like on drugs, you know. It does seem like a dream sequence, you know, because that weird sculpture with the robe and the hat.
Somebody just put a hat on it. Yep.
And then bearded guy in a nurse's uniform.
That's right.
So it looked like Chris Penn might have walked by.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just watching Stacy Keach here as he goes down near the basement to see that Scott Wilson is going over the plans for the Great Escape. And he just stands there blankly and does this wave. That's just, it's strange and unnerving.
Yes. The whole third act is just a giant, you know, bar brawl. I like the way they build his character up to that, you know, when he just fucking snaps again.
All right, we can go ahead and let our audience know if they haven't seen the movie, they need to. You need to watch it at least once.
Yeah, there's a pretty big twisteroo.
Basically, he is Killer Kane. That Keach is insane and has been sent here by accident to run this place, or he was a patient and they let him act it out, but he doesn't know that Ed Flanders is his brother.
Right, doesn't
recognize him. Yeah.
But yeah, and you get the idea. I'm pretty sure that in the book, Ed Flanders' character, he's maybe so regarded that he can pull off like doing something crazy, you know, like this, trying to experiment with his brother.
Yep.
I told her she was lousy and she bit me. Yeah, I mean, so much of this movie is, you know, the guy's acting weird.
Very nutso. So there's a small scene with Neville Brand.
The dog-faced Marine.
Yeah. That he is having a conversation about wearing the SS uniform. And Stacy Keach loses it.
Yeah, he does. Like, I was scared. Like, is he going to fucking kill this guy?
In which that's what he thought too.
Yeah, right.
It seemed like genuine terror.
Right.
Yeah, because he just talks about, if you take off this uniform, I will kill you, or, you know, just kill you and your family and the dogs that you once owned. You know, I don't know. It's terrifying. The way that his eyes, his mannerisms,
he's kind of like rubbing his
sweat
head
on his hair lip.
Oh man,
it's all just unnerving.
He is not a man with which you should fuck with.
Exactly. Good, well put. And then Scott Wilson breaks up the terror by bursting in the room wearing a Frankenstein mask. A Frankenstein's monster mask, and knocks Neville Brand to the floor.
Oh, that is weird. Also, having his things that he's yelling at Neville Brand on closed captioning, it's some weird stuff. It says something about like torturing caterpillars or something. Anyway, but that's a cool scene.
Yes. Scott Wilson breaks in, knocks him down with the mask on, steps on his back, grabs a flag and says, "I claim this swamp for Poland."
That's good. I like that. Oh man, all these scenes with him and Scott Wilson are just so fucking like intense.
That man has a flag fetish.
He also tells him that he's too human to be human, I think.
Oh, he gave him a script for The Great Escape, and he says, I want you to notice on page 3 you crack.
Nice.
You're too human to be human. That's it. When Scott Wilson asks him to take him to Mass,
yeah,
and he just acts out in Mass,
yeah,
I'm at 114, and there's a new inmate that Tom Atkins put in Stacy Keach's office so he could fill him in.
Sorry, I'm stuck at him and Robert Loggia. Which the subtitles call him Spaceman, not Robert Lozier. He is officially, when he's wearing the costume, he is Spaceman. He just knocks over all the paintings.
Yeah. Oh, I love that when he kind of basically said he's said enough and kind of scrunches his shoulders so he can hide his face in the costume.
Yes,
in the spaceman costume, and just tromples through. So who is this guy, this new inmate, supposed to be? Now it's just somebody that Stacy Keach was
served
in the war with,
possibly. I don't remember.
It's Gilman is the character's name, and he's looking for Colonel Kane.
Yes. And maybe you get the idea that, this is part of Ed Flanders', overall plan is to, introduce pieces of, oh, no. Now that I'm watching the scene, I don't think he was meant to see that guy.
No.
This is throwing a big fucking monkey wrench in everything because he recognizes him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's actually the one in his flashback that is like...
Yes. The little flashback of Nam where he has basically just took a wire and cut a kid's head off.
Yeah, like a piano wire or a garrote, he just kind of sawed a... I guess that's...
This is the tipping point where it tells the audience that, yes, he is Killer Kane.
Yes. That's a fucked up scene.
I think they mentioned before that he had killed 46 with his bare hands, but yeah, he's like, that number's all wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's 146.
Yeah.
Okay, Ed Flanders didn't kind of... He just saw an opportunity maybe because it was a like bureaucratic mix-up that he was, transferred or whatever.
After he sees this guy, he kind of has a series of flashbacks that kind of bring everything back into perspective for him, and he just passes out.
Right. So I think he knew that it was wrong. I mean, he knew that something was in the back of his mind, did this to himself. You're meant to think, I think.
So I guess the introduction of this new inmate kind of tells all the other inmates, because Scott Wilson's flipping out now.
Oh, because he knows now?
Yeah, now that he knows this is Killer Kane.
Huh.
And I guess Killer Kane has had this, he's become a folklore.
Yeah, like kind of an urban legend type of thing.
There we go. So he's tearing up his office and throwing shit about and decides, I guess, now to go and have a few drinks.
Yeah.
Which changes the whole movie now.
Yeah. I mean, Stacy Keach is really like so reined in and, kind of autistic seeming, like he just stares blankly at things, and like he is like a crazy like presence, It's not all the lip, that's some of it, but he's intimidating looking, This whole movie you're kind of like growing more anxious because he's just gonna fucking snap and kill somebody,
and you expect it,
which he does.
And see, even after I keep saying Ned Flanders, when he's tending to Stacy Keach, saying, "Do you passed out when you saw the new inmate?" He's like, "What new inmate?" He's already kind of reset himself when he passed out.
So then they're having that weird meeting about him.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he during all this? I guess he's going to find Cutshaw, right?
He needs to go find Cutshaw. I
really like that kind of camera movement where it pans that whole room and kind of ends up on Tom Atkins, and he's like telling a story, like a very Rambo kind of, you know what I mean?
He repressed Kane and became another person altogether, except when he dreamed. That's what they state.
That seems kind of like flimsy psychology. But what do I know? Okay, Ed, we get it.
Bring us all home.
Did you ever not know what was? I mean, was this pretty easy to guess? Kind of what the mystery of it is.
It's now become. Oh shit! I gotta go. I'm getting paged.
All right.
All right, later.
Hello.
Hello.
I just did light cleaning today, and now every part of my body hurts.
You're
I
sore.
think I sprained my wrist and rough stuff.
Yeah. Welcome to middle age.
Mm-hmm.
I assume I think I'm past middle age because I really don't think I'm
Yeah.
gonna make it to 96.
No, I see guys like, Jerry Stiller is probably healthier than I was. And
he's dead now.
I almost spit my beer out.
I think about that too, especially when I'm editing this down and, I can hear my breath just
Laboring for
I'm like, I gotta cut that out. Add some silence here.
And you don't even smoke anymore.
No.
That's really bad.
Did I just not recall, donating a lung back in the day?
Yeah.
Is it?
It could have. Lungs, nothing. You want me to get you a lung? I can get you a lung by the end of the night.
Okay. I might need that. All right, so should I explain to the audience my abrupt departure?
You can, or we can just say, and we're back.
And we're back.
It's a different day.
We could blame it on your phone going dead, or
Yes.
we could just say that I left,
legitimate.
and then you kept talking for 13 hours and didn't realize I was gone.
Yep.
Until now.
I was like, huh? Yeah. I don't really wait. That actually is pretty accurate. I feel like I talk over you a lot, and I don't mean to.
What do you mean?
Just, exactly. Just nonstop gibberish coming from my mouth. Okay, so we're still watching Ninth Configuration, and it is finally the third act. This is the reason why the movie was made. I guess you're kind of,
Oh, you mean the climax is why any movie is made?
So, do you remember where we left off? Scott Wilson, has he already stolen a car, and have we covered that?
Yes. Where I was, so we've got Ed Flanders kind of explaining to...
Yes, it's kind of the big reveal, right?
We got the doctors, we've got the other lieutenants or whatever.
Yeah, Tom Atkins and
beefy-faced guy.
Yeah, dog-faced guy.
He's kind of explaining everything. I got a question. Why is the new patient in that room?
Yeah, there's a lot of holes in the explanation of it. I feel like that is a really great idea, that he is just kind of just become unmoored, he's like trying to figure out, trying to put the pieces back together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do it in such a weird... I think Stacy Keach, he really sells it in this movie.
Yeah. I think everybody sells it.
Yeah.
This is Ed Flanders' office because you see the skull on his desk.
Yes.
The window in the background, you mentioned this before too, kind of resembles the confessional type window.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if you're right about that, because I'm curious now that you brought it up. It just kind of rings true.
William Peter Blatty obviously had a lot of, issues with Catholicism and religion in general.
What?
Now he's just kind of working them all out, I guess.
In the reveal of this, and you asked this earlier, Ed Flanders just says this because he was talking about him and his brother.
Yes.
His name is Hudson. Ed Flanders' name is Hudson. You asked why one of the other characters was, if it was Scott Wilson that called him Hud.
What does that mean?
He thought he was Hudson.
Oh,
that was Stacy
I
Keach.
see. That was his kind of the part of the ruse, but now what is his name? What is
Vincent?
Okay, right. Yeah, I guess I didn't catch that.
So now we start in just the real third act. Well, it's only maybe about 14 minutes left in the movie is when Scott Wilson just runs away and goes to a bar, which just happens to be inhabited by every biker in...
Yeah, there's a biker convention. It's like he went to Sturgis or something.
Right.
Biker convention.
Sure.
don't even know what that means. It's like Comic-Con.
When I think of bikers, I don't think about the music that they're playing in here.
Okay.
This is.
I've got a lot to say about. I don't have a lot to say because this is just a typical biker. Part of this movie that I do love is like, and that's why I want to know, when you were kind of like hip to what was going on, because there has to be this like confrontation at the end without, that he's like he's can do violence, and you're like, man, something's coming up,
It's all coming to a head.
Right. When they both, enter that bar, that is very classic biker stuff, not to jump ahead, but like the leader of the biker gang, his first movie, I think, was a Roger Corman biker movie. Couldn't tell you what it's called. Do we need to explain? Scott Wilson shows up at the bar. He stole a car or something. He got out. Did it show him breaking out of?
It just showed him driving through the barricade.
Oh, right. So he did kind of escape.
Stacy Keach heard the car taken off and was concerned and asked who it was that was leaving, and they said it was Cutshaw.
Right. Gotcha. So I guess wherever where were they at? Geographically?
Supposed to be New England.
New England, that's right. I'm just so, every time that comes up, I'm just like confused about where people are in like space and time, even though there's 2 locations in the movie. Roll up your sleeves because it's going to be weird. Man, there's so many just roast-faced dudes in this movie. Tom Atkins, okay, I probably said this last night too, but how old do you think Tom Atkins is at this point? He's just one of those guys with one of those faces that just like...
He was 45 when this was made.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Not bad.
He's just got a roast face. Some people just have... We're getting ready to talk about a real... Ooh, never mind. I probably should not go there. I will tell you the IMDb story. Have you looked that up?
No. You have a story?
Okay. Yeah, but let's
get to him first.
Yeah, let's explain.
But I'm trying to read what is the motorcycle club's name?
Oh man, I don't know.
I see the patch on their back, and I can't.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna see if I can get a good picture too. Hell's Sweaties, because everybody's really sweaty. Dude, the 70s in general. Wait a minute, this was made in 80,
moist
right?
Time, yes, 1980.
Okay, so we still have a little bit of that 70s.
The earlier scene during the breakdown of Stacy Keach, where he remembers himself as a young boy. You saw the little boy running through the field.
Oh yes, just like a weird, quick little clip.
That's William Peter Blatty's son.
Oh, okay.
So on with this bar scene.
Yes.
Lead biker, what's his name?
His name is Steve Sandor. He's
listed as first cyclist Stanley. And Richard Lynch is second cyclist Richard.
That is kind of weird, but like, gosh, I can't even. There he is. Yeah, first cyclist. It's like they're doing like a, cross country kind of. They've got like spandex. Cyclist. How about gang member or biker? I think biker would pretty much explain all you needed to know.
So basically, they're just all drinking, having a good time, and Steve Sandor, he believes he recognizes Scott Wilson.
Okay, real quick, just at the very beginning of that scene, it kind of sets up, it shows Scott Wilson, he's got a bunch of shots laid out, but they pass by another biker named Tim Rossovich.
Okay.
From a profile, he kind of looks like Randall Tex Cobb. He's got a big wide nose and a giant mustache.
Yes.
He played football for the Eagles. He played for the Chargers and the Oilers also. Anyway, I just knew that face. But of course, when you look at all of his credits, it is just every single 70s, like he was on Hunter.
He was in Cloak and Dagger.
Charlie's Angels, MacGyver, Magnum P.I. Yeah, he was in Cloak and Dagger.
He was in Matt Houston.
Oh my God. Him and Matt Houston probably like...
He was in Nice Dreams. He was Detective Noodles.
Oh, yes, yes. So he's worked with Stacy Keach before. Oh man, this thing is like an onion. You just keep on peeling back all the layers.
Was Stacy Keach in Nice Dreams?
Yeah, he's Stadenko in that.
Yeah,
I
he's
think.
still there. Yeah,
it's in the Cheech and Chonga verse. You know, that almost sounded like Chimichanga.
Just want to bring up he was in Avenging Angel, just because his character's name was Teddy Butts.
Oh my God.
3rd grade.
That seems... All right, he was also in Alf and A-Team, so now I know why I recognize his face. Big Alf fan. The cover of Alf Season 1 has Alf drinking out of it kind of like looks like a latte maybe, or like a tropical drink, with a cat head made out of whipped cream on the top.
Yep, you always wanted to eat the cat. Oh, good times.
Now I'm kind of depressed. Do you want to finish this, or do you just want
to... just talk about Alf for a while?
Okay, let's just power through this. Anyway, I saw a big beefy face in a movie full of big beefy faces.
He's uncredited.
Yeah, he's like another cyclist, I guess. I love it that they call them cyclists.
I was just looking up Alf. Okay, you brought it up. I had to look.
Oh, brother. This is going to be another, 2-hour-long podcast.
We talk about different voice actors and how they usually go on to do all sorts of other things. This guy didn't. Alf played Alf.
Right.
And he had some credits before.
Yeah.
But once he did Alf, that's all he did was Alf.
What are you saying? Is the voice actor and the physical actor the same person?
We don't see a picture of the guy.
Oh, brother.
It's just Alf. So Alf has his own credit. From 1981, he played 3 or 4 different things before Alf, and then it's only Alf. Just pointing that out. The guy's name is Paul Fusco? Fusco?
Man. So there's somebody in the costume, and then they're also a voice actor, right? Should we just become the Alf cast now? Let's just stop right now. What the hell are we doing? Okay. Steve Sandor. Sandor? Sander? If it didn't have an O, I would know how to pronounce it, but I guess it's Sandor. He is a voice actor.
Really?
He was the main character, I think, in Fire and Ice.
Okay, yeah.
The animated. It's a Ralph Bakshi movie.
Sure.
He did Heavy Traffic and he did Wizards. He did that animated Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Ralph Bakshi.
Sure.
He did Cool World.
Okay.
Why am I bringing this up again? Oh, it's because, Sandor was the voice of the main character in Fire and Ice, which was kind of I don't know what you call those movies. They're animated, but with a weird, well, I've taken us in a direction that is just completely, oh my God.
Anyway, moving on.
And moving on, he was a voice actor too, also.
Which, considering his voice in this film,
it's kind of...
he's wearing sunglasses, but when he takes off his sunglasses, he has these... It's almost a joke.
When you see, Robert Smith from The Cure doing it, it's like, oh, okay. But, it has nothing to do with... Who did that for him? Did he do it?
No,
Did one of the girls that,
It looks like Steve Guttenberg put eyeshadow on binoculars and gave them to...
So Steve Sandor is the leader of this gang, and Richard Lynch, he's shown up in the movies that we do before.
He was Cromwell.
Right, Cromwell. It's a good bad guy name. Fighting Matt Houston in medieval times.
You wanted to mention something about how Richard Lynch got into a grease fire.
It wasn't a grease fire, but I think that they were... sorry, I don't have... I'm looking it up right now. I read this last night after I
disappeared for 6 hours.
and missing time.
Did we cover this before? We didn't cover this before.
I don't think we talked about... wow, there's so many Richard Lynches. Holy shit. Okay, so Richard Lynch is the head biker's like kind of right-hand man, you know, his lieutenant, you know.
Which he really should be the head. There it is right there. I got it.
Okay, good, because I couldn't find it.
This is on Richard Lynch trivia. By the way, he plays the flute, the piano, guitar, and saxophone.
I read that.
He could really go with Wilford Brimley and just start a new band.
Oh, my God. I would watch that.
He likes gospel music.
Ugh, now we're slowly starting to kind of wonder what's up.
In 1967, after taking LSD...
Oh, man. Why do they have to blame everything on acid?
He set himself on fire in Central Park behind the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Jesus Christ.
Near Cleopatra's Needle.
I don't know what that is.
After recuperation, he candidly spoke about it in an anti-drug documentary. He made use of his scarred face to play sinister-looking characters in horror films.
Well, he fucking hit that nail right on the head. I mean, this might be weird, but they consider him for Freddy Krueger?
Did they?
I don't know. It just seems like
a shoe-in.
Gosh, I don't want to go into all this, but let's just say that he looks worse in this movie than he does in his later things, you know, as like, I don't know, like dermabrasion type. I'm really not. I'm just saying that he's definitely had some work done over the years to, address that issue.
What you're trying to say is that these insults are not meant to be insults, but they come naturally.
I think that when he hears something like that, it's like, okay, that's fair. I did set myself on fire while I was tripping on it. I love his IMDb. I mean, you could go on and on and on. He was in
everything.
Oh, he was in Mike Hammer with Stacy Keach. You know? Man, I used to watch Mike Hammer all the time. Did you?
No.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. Acapulco Heat, Battlestar Galactica.
I'm just watching this scene where they're taunting Scott Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we were watching a movie.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because Scott Wilson plays it so well.
Yeah.
He has 5 shots of liquor in front of him, and he keeps bringing up one to try to drink it, and Sandor takes it away and puts it down. So he goes to another one and picks it up and tries to drink it, just naturally going back for another shot.
Right, and now I'm like, because Steve Sandor to Richard Lynch is telling him that he recognizes him as the astronaut that lost his shit, you know? So that's why this whole thing, he bets him that it's him.
And that's it, and that's what started it.
Slaps him a couple of times.
I'm not sure what Richard Lynch's T-shirt under his motorcycle vest says, but all I can read says, "A fuck."
Yeah, exactly. Great. So it's not, like the private school that he graduated from or anything. I love that too. Like when in biker movies, you can have these guys that are like quasi intellectual, and anyway, or they're all on LSD. But yes, he's wearing his dog tags, right? And that's how
he steals his dog tags away from him, says, yes, he is this guy, and they're mocking him, saying they want to make him an honorary member of the motorcycle club.
Okay, now I'm looking at the back of his jacket.
I still can't read it.
It is inscrutable, like what that is. Gallo? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And in the IMDb for this movie, I think that these are like real bikers that they kind of pulled into, I think I read something.
Yeah.
He won the bet, but then he's pissed that, I don't know, he wasn't being like patriotic because he had like a psychological breakdown. He calls him a chicken wigged out astronaut. A chicken, wigged out hyphenated astronaut.
It's the Chain Gang MC.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me see that one more time. If you're right, then I will eat my phone.
I am so right.
Chain Gang. Okay.
It's a
gotcha.
Stupid font.
It is. It's Old English, and it doesn't help anybody.
No. I feel like I glossed over something here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about Richard Lynch.
I'm glad we're on the same page here.
Mm-hmm.
I was just reading more of his IMDb.
Yeah.
He was sharing an apartment with actor Don Calfa at the time of his LSD-fueled incident.
Right. Who is the assassin from Weekend at Bernie's, and he's the mortician
and Return of the Living Dead.
Yep.
Very good.
I was just thinking, like, what year Bad Dreams came out? Because now that I think about it, that's such a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff, and he already is burned.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder what year.
Bad Dreams, 1988.
Oh, yeah.
That's well after.
Yeah. I mean, don't you think that's what they were kind of cashing in on?
Sure.
I remember loving that movie, and I also remember being in love with
Jennifer Rubin,
the main girl. Wait a minute, wasn't she in a Nightmare on Elm Street?
Yes, she was. She was Taryn. She was the bad girl with the spiked hair.
Yes, so of course there's like, I mean, I could look up the story about it, but we don't have the time. Maybe we'll do a deep dive on Richard Lynch on the next bullshit episode. Who knows?
Foreshadowing.
Sounds like you already picked him, and now that I said it.
No, I think we've already said too much.
I'm going to spend at least 30 minutes on his role in Jake and the Fat Man. That's enough, but he's like been in everything.
Yes.
He was a hot commodity in the late 70s and early 80s. Love Boat? Anywhere? No? Don't want to burn guy on Love Boat? I don't know.
So really, they're just picking on Scott Wilson.
Yeah, they just kind of bored maybe, and he's bored, a celebrity.
Slightly drunk.
Yeah.
And they've tied a chain around him.
Yeah.
It's like they're playing volleyball with him. I think they even said that later. It's like, well, we got a new ball.
Is this a fun game that they play? Dude, I would love one of those like cut off sleeve jean jackets
with a legible logo on the back.
With a legible logo. Who is the bartender here? Can we get a little order in here?
And it seems like there's only one waitress. I mean...
Yeah, exactly. And she's like really normal. And it's like...
Yeah.
Although there is a guy at the bar... Maybe this is addressed later. Maybe he kind of pops up. But there's a guy at the bar that looks like not Jehovah's Witness, but like a very like straight-laced looking dude.
He's wearing a pullover sweater.
Yeah.
He was the one in the back of the truck at the very beginning of the movie when the biker gang cut off. When they cut off Stacy Keach's car.
Okay.
He was in the back of the truck and they had him roped up and they were taking him away.
Right. Yeah, kind of like Tobey Maguire and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Yeah, it's always funny when they like pan over and there's just like somebody normal, not sweaty and greasy.
Just enjoying the show.
It's not like these guys carry around deodorant with them or anything. You know what I mean? These 70s movies, everything just has a fine coating of Coors Light all over it and just sweat and gross.
The waitress calls because she knows she overheard the biker gang saying that he flipped out. So she calls the operator to get connected with the asylum, and that's how Stacy Keach knows that he's at the bar.
That's where Scott Wilson is. Okay. So at least that little bit is cleared up. They force him to kiss Meg White in a biker jacket, which doesn't seem that bad, you know? No. And then Lorraine Newman comes in on that girl while she's making the call. She has a Nazi eagle insignia on her. Kind of looks her up and down. I'm like, I'm going to go piss, but I'm going to see what this chick's doing too. She looks like an extra on Eight is Enough or something, like the next door neighbor.
Yeah, I buy that.
Everyone in a biker movie, there is always a beer spilling scene.
Oh, yeah.
Either the bad guy dumps it on their heads. Oh, man. And in that scene, Richard Lynch, you can see his arm.
It looks shredded.
Scott Wilson's probably going to get a couple of body blows.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reveal the mascara. What do you got for that? Did he apply that himself? That's what I'm asking.
It's hard to say.
If somebody had Sharpied a dick on his face, it would have been less... At least you know what happened there, you know? Why the eye makeup? It's weird.
And why is nobody else wearing said eye makeup?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just his little flourish, you know? He's like, I am the leader of this gang, but I'm going to kind of camp it up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. He almost looks like he could jump right into a Mad Max movie. A cheap Italian Mad Max knockoff.
Exactly, for sure. And he is in a movie called Stryker. He's the main character.
Yeah, I just looked at that.
Just glancing at it, I just don't think he could support a,
No.
You know, we're getting his only character that he does right now, which is just big, dumb asshole.
That's it.
And I think, what's the guy from Short Circuit?
Not the Goot?
Not the Goot. The other guy. Fisher Stevens.
Yeah.
There's the guy in the gang that looks a lot like Fisher Stevens.
I've seen Fisher Stevens recently in something. Mm-hmm. His head has gotten huge and his neck has gotten smaller.
Oh.
It's the strangest thing ever. It's like
a bobblehead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an olive on a toothpick. Head, pants, now. It's got its own weather system.
The virtual planetoid. Oh, man, I need to work on my... Well, no, I don't.
No, you don't. That's fine.
That's a lot of work to come up with a Scottish accent, you know? You can either do it or you can't.
Right. And I'm pretty sure we can't.
Nope. There's just... I got to pause. There's a little caption that says oohing and awing.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, when he, like, slaps him around.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that the head of the biker gang, his go-to move is a slap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just kind of slaps people. He kisses Scott Wilson.
Oh, he goes full on.
That's what this is all about. It is a full-on biker movie with all of the biker movie like tropes. They love this guy, you know, like he's just providing them all of this entertainment. At the same time, they're just like beating the crap out of him, you know?
I've never belonged to a biker motorcycle club.
Either. No, I don't have a motorcycle.
I do, but, you know, get it up on a hill and roll it down.
Right, exactly. Okay, imagine this. You just have a row of heads. Stacy Keach, Ed Flanders, Steve Sandor, Richard Lynch.
Joe Spinell.
Who has, like, Sid Haig level face. Just a big fucking face. Is that something that evolution has just, like, just seems like you don't see people with just such a giant face anymore?
You haven't been to Walmart lately, have you?
Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm the, you know, now I'm the jerk.
You're just the small-faced one.
Right, exactly. Just missed out on that.
Moving on, I got Stacy Keach finally coming to rescue Scott Wilson.
And this has been building the whole movie, right?
I want to know, because they still let him go. They know he's cracked.
Right.
Or cracking. And the asylum still let him go get Scott Wilson.
That is very unprofessional and very
irresponsible.
Irresponsible. Like, he should have his license taken away, sir. You have let a psychopathic killer out on the loose.
Who has been known to kill many people with his own hands.
Yeah. But it is satisfying. I mean, this is like skipping ahead just a little bit, but there is a defenestration that I was like, I had my eye on that front window of that bar. I was like, that thing is going to shatter into a million pieces. And there is some poor bastard that's going to be like
launched right through it.
And hopefully they do it in slow-mo.
You expect that in any kind of Clint Eastwood movie.
If there's a window, it's like, okay, that would be a good drinking game. Like, which window is he going to throw this guy through? Stacy Keach, I bet he could just kill somebody with his bare hands.
Mm-hmm.
He's intimidating, you know?
Steve Sandor is bigger than Stacy Keach. He's not a big guy. He's just intimidating looking. And even your other guy, the uncredited biker.
Yes.
This Tim Rossovich, he kind of towers over.
Yeah, he's like 6'2". Those kerchiefs are like, because he's got one too. You know what I'm saying? They're just like kerchiefs. It's weird. Do you guys think that looks fucking tough? Because it's just practical. They sweat a lot, you know. It's like, I don't want to get my neck sweat on my body sweat. Anyway, can you cut that out? Their hair is amazing too. He has got one of those like white guy afros that is just insane.
I think his nose got bigger as he got older.
Exactly. His nose looks fairly small in this. And I think it did spread out over time. I'm no face doctor, but I caught that.
This is where they're breaking down Stacy Keach. And you expect this. How far are they going to be able to push him before he fucking snaps?
Yeah, we've already seen him, fully like cut a kid's head off. Don't get him in that mode, guys. Letting the tiger out of the cage.
We get an idea of his rage when he's talking to one of the other lieutenants.
Dogface.
Yeah. About keeping that uniform on, and he full on flips out.
Yes, he is scary in that. And the other guy, he's kind of a scary Marine. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, just backs away slowly.
Yes, which is probably the only way to leave a room with Stacy Keach. I still, even right up to it, he's kind of redeemed a little bit, that he's trying to be a better person.
Right.
I think.
Sure.
That's it. You fucking mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Mm-hmm. And when they start just dogging the Marines, which I read that Richard Lynch was a Marine.
Yeah, and also Steve Sandor was like in the Air Force. He trained sentry dogs. That is one of his professions on IMDb. It does not go beyond that. He trained sentry dogs. Okay. Is that a thing?
I suppose so. It's not something they just make up.
I guess not. Just seems so. I mean, I guess somebody does have that job.
Mm-hmm. It's not like Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. They just
no.
I train dogs for the Air Force because they're known for their dogs.
And I saw Bigfoot too. Also.
I trained him as well.
All right. So now they are throwing around Stacy Keach, and that is not a stuntman, and it is kind of alarming how they are throwing him around.
Oh, yeah.
And the cameraman must be sick because he was just like...
No. It was a total just 360 roll around.
It looks fun. If he said whee during that, I would believe it. Oh, and a girl knocks him down.
Yeah. Yeah, she just checks him.
She kind of like hockey checks him. And someone has no pants on. There's a girl's legs that are very prominent in that scene.
They kick Stacy Keach to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And Sandor hovers over him and does the splits to get down to his level.
Oh, man.
It's like,
that looked painful when he kicked him in the ass.
But when he does the split, it's like the actor decided to take that just a step further. He's like, oh, by the way, I can do this. Get me in frame.
Yeah. It's really weird.
It's very bizarre.
I do like that kind of like insane when they're, showing that pink light on this, the neon light. It is a cool scene.
I think that's foreshadowing, when you have that pink light on his face.
Yes.
They're trying to make him lick the beer up. It remind me of Creep Show.
Oh, yeah, very much, yeah. And I love the way Scott Wilson is looking at him. Because by now, Scott Wilson knows who he is, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've heard the legend of Killer Kane. So when that name popped up, he apparently knew who he was.
Mm-hmm. He was stuff of legends.
Yeah, and that's another thing is the biker leader. What does he have a name in this?
Just
he's just cyclist number 1
and Stanley or something like that.
Right. He's disappointed that he licks the beer.
Yeah.
He headbutts a post and is just
enraged and punches him in the back.
Yes.
Then they go back and attack. Kind of,
dude, don't make me talk about what just happened with Richard Lynch and Cutshaw because it was very weird.
It's very weird, and I'm paused on a scene that just shows Stacy Keach getting up, and he's got the pink light on him, and the closed captioning just says Cutshaw gagging.
It is almost the exact same shot from Last House on the Left when the guy like sits on her chest.
Mm-hmm.
The most disturbing like scene from that movie. I've never seen that on this before. I've never caught that. It is very weird. It assumes that Richard Lynch has.
Don't say it. Just don't say it.
Anyway, he's just being intimate with Scott Wilson's face. So all of these things are just kind of, beer spilled. What else do you need to trigger you?
Mm-hmm.
His name's Stacy, so that has to be like a...
So during this, Stacy Keach flips out. He reaches up and grabs cyclist number 1's beer
in his hand. What's this guy doing?
And just crushes the glass into his hand.
Yes.
Which the guy, he's really playing it up like, how can you do this? How are you that strong?
He looks like Gary Glitter, if you know who Gary Glitter is. I gotta
look up Gary Glitter.
He's just kind of a British pedophile. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry.
But you see what I'm saying? Like it's kind of the same. Like he's got makeup on and his hair is fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he crushes his hand, and Richard Lynch is like, "Uh-oh."
Mm-hmm.
He got his switchblade out.
But Stacy Keach's face, his focus, is so
he is
awesome.
He's very intimidating,
and he just takes everybody on.
That feels like that guy that I was talking about. I can't remember what his name is. I want to call him Manzarek, or
Matuzak.
Yeah, that guy. Don't they look very similar?
A little bit.
Yeah. Because, man, it just explodes in violence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is just taking down everybody.
Everybody. Even 2 women.
Girls. Yeah, 2 chicks.
He throws one chick into the wall, and
he
jabs his hand into her stomach at the bottom of her sternum.
Right.
I don't know. It is strange.
She was definitely a stunt woman because that would kill a normal, just a normal actor, I think. You just fucking hammer her throat and then just like kick her a few times.
And then he throws our main guy out the window. Yeah.
Defenestration.
Out the window.
It just shows like a floor full of dead bodies.
Full of just the aftermath.
Massacring. Yeah. So who's the local cop that just shows up?
I don't know. Kind of looked like the cop from Halloween 2.
Yeah, you know? it isn't, but yeah, you're right. He does look like him a lot. I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
I had it for a second.
Now I'm kind of confused a little bit. It cuts from that bar massacre back to the castle, and they're already there. So I don't know how that bar scene ended.
That's it. He just took Scott Wilson, and they left.
Okay, so he didn't kill everyone in the bar. He just killed the people that were attacking him, and then skedoodled out of there.
And now the police want to take him away, and
so that's why the cop's there. Okay, I am on board now. In the last 10 minutes of this movie,
you're finally with it. All right, but Scott Wilson now, he just goes in to console Killer Kane in his office / bedroom.
Yeah,
and
bedroom.
That window is open now. I'm just curious. It's just the same window covering. If you're going with this confessional thing, I just keep looking for this window.
I for sure, know that that's what all of that was about.
That's a good theory. I like it.
Well, and it's also because you ever seen Grace and Frankie, the TV show?
You bring it up often that maybe I should.
It's hilarious. Anyway, Martin Sheen, I can't remember who he's talking to, but he's basically taking a confession, and they didn't have anything, so they just grabbed one of those high back chairs, that are in this castle that have that kind of wooden bamboo pattern.
Okay, I got you. Yeah,
so they just set a chair in between them, and it looks like a confessional. That's kind of what made me think of that. But I don't know if that's up to standard, but it'll do in a pinch.
So now we get kind of Scott Wilson's just confession of what actually happened. Why his monologue on why he flipped out.
Chickened out.
Why he was what do they call him? Spaceman chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
So Scott Wilson's thing, basically, his whole monologue follows that he didn't want to die alone. And he felt that up in space, he would be ultimately alone. And if there was not a God, he would truly, truly be alone. That's the whole thing. And at one point, he said something to Stacy Keach that if you were to die before me, leave me a sign that there is a God.
Yes, and he agrees. I mean, I think that's just a running thing in all of William Peter Blatty's stories is that, this kind of existential terror and
I'll try to look into it a little bit more about the story behind how William Peter Blatty considers this the sequel to the true sequel to The Exorcist.
Yes. That scene that you're talking about. He has cried probably 3 times in this movie. And I just think it's because he is so
believable.
I think he's just going full method,
Yeah, and he deserved that Golden Globe. He deserved more than that. This is
for sure.
Terrific performance.
I don't understand I guess I do understand William Peter Blatty's thing with space and discovering that we are, alone, and that is terrifying if you were brought up thinking that, I don't know. I'm just speculating because I don't identify with any of that, but, well, existential terror, and I do identify with that. Yep, he's really, really selling it. He's like, "Are you there, God? It's me, Cut Shot."
This is strange, and I read some of this just to figure out what exactly happened. Or I guess there may have been some editing differences on this cut of the film because Stacy Keach is just sitting in the chair.
This blankie.
He got his blankie.
Looks like he still has the blood of dead bikers on his hands.
Exactly.
He has not showered or anything.
Yeah.
Beer in his hair.
He actually kind of reiterates I will show you that God exists.
Yeah, he's made that he must like cure Cut Shot.
He's kind of taking himself to be a martyr to cure not just Cutshaw, but all the men by killing himself?
I don't know.
But he's already maybe stabbed himself with a knife.
Yeah, right.
And I guess there was a cut of the film that the producers put together that insinuated that he was stabbed by one of the bikers.
You're right. Right. But
no, the story was that he commits suicide.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's no scene of him you assume that he remembers all of these things that he's been trying to suppress, and now he just can't deal with the fact that he's like brutally killed, so many people, I assume. But yeah, he's a very Christ-like figure.
They talk about this too in the trivia. So Scott Wilson walks away, and is not even until he sits down on the stairwell that he noticed there's some blood on his shoe, that he was standing a little close to Stacy Keach. All the shit that they've been through tonight, there's probably a lot of blood on his shoe.
Right, exactly. Blood, beer, yeah.
But
so he thinks he's just kind of like falling asleep or something. He's all tuckered out from his bar fight.
Because he says, "I'm so tired."
I mean, it's probably like 11:30 or something.
Yeah.
And he checks his dog tags to...
No, that's the medallion that's around his neck.
Just
setting up that medallion one last time.
I see.
When he's carrying Stacy Keach down the stairwell, in which all the men see him, it was kind of like a Christ pose.
Yeah.
I don't know, is there a picture of somebody carrying Christ like that?
I think maybe there is.
And that's what they were trying to mimic?
Yes.
There had to be some assist type wiring mechanism to help hold Stacy
because there's no way that
there's no way that Scott Wilson could carry Stacy Keach down the stairwell like that.
No way. Absolutely no way. Maybe in like a Baby Bjorn or something for Stacy Keach. Like one of those like marsupial type looking things. Yeah, I'm looking at a bunch of like art. Couldn't tell you who St. Christopher is. But there is a scene of doesn't he help him with the cross? No, that's a different guy. Sorry. Look, I'll read the Bible. Finally.
By next episode, you'll read the Bible and get back with me.
I promise you this. I will read the Bible before next Saturday.
Is there a Cliff Notes version?
I think you can pretty much get the greatest hits.
I'll just watch The Last Temptation of Christ, and I'm sure that'll get me there.
Ugh. A real horror movie. Okay, so...
Yep, he's dead.
Man, he sacrificed himself.
He gave up his life to cure the men. Again, we close in on Stacy Keach's face just so you can see the medallion still around his neck.
He has a great face.
He has a great dead face?
Not dead face, just like it. You just think about what he would have looked like without the kind of hair lip, He's like handsome, but he just has that odd... Well, and it's not even, it makes him more like kind of vulnerable, I think, that he has kind of a odd face.
Okay.
And then I'm watching the scene where they pull up in like a GTO, maybe? I don't know what that car is.
Good car.
And
Scott Wilson's been reinstated back to NASA, and
right.
they've driven him back out to this castle, not in Hungary.
As apparent by this like Chevelle that they're driving, it has a NASA license plate and a NASA bumper sticker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotta sell it.
Somebody sees that and they're like, oh, well, obviously they're from NASA driving a rundown like muscle car. I bet that was Steve Sandor's car. And they're like, can we just...
You already have a NASA bumper sticker. You mind if we just borrow this?
It's like, yeah, man, you just have to, there's a bunch of Arby's containers in there that you're going to want to throw away for us. Kind of live out of my car.
So, a really kind of a solemn scene where you just have Cutshaw walking through and not running. He
is doing the opposite of running. He is literally taking one step every 4 seconds.
But just looking around, I love this set.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
And I'm sorry if I forget. Is it a set? I mean, this is a location, right?
It said the interior shots were in that castle in Germany. And I will look it up, and I will do research, and I will have a full report waiting for you.
Okay. I'll tell you what, those Germans, maybe we don't have the greatest history with them, but they can build a fucking cathedral. You know what I mean? And decorate it really scary.
Yeah. So everything's cleared out of the castle. I guess they've been kicked out. Or has everybody been cured and now they've shut it down?
I think after the barroom debacle, they're like, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah. That's it. Shock treatment for everybody.
We've taken all these people with real mental problems and we've just put them in a haunted castle. That seems like a bad choice.
And gave them every toy that they wanted.
Dog costumes, everything.
And now they're probably getting shock treatment and copious amounts of lithium.
Robert Loggia is biting down on a belt right now because he is being zapped. He was clearly the most psychotic out of all of them. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Maybe even Killer Kane, too?
Maybe. I mean, he was flying in a jetpack.
Oh, that scene. That's the one scene that is so absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is like, this could have happened. Him in the jetpack. What does that mean? Maybe if Stacy Keach or, Scott Wilson had been hallucinating that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was just weird.
I've got a little revelation here.
Okay.
Okay, now, so some point before Scott Wilson goes to console Stacy Keach, when he's committing suicide, he wrote this letter. And so, we got Cutshaw that goes into Stacy Keach's office or his bedroom and pulls out the letter to read it. He's stating he's taking his life in hope that his death may provide a shock that has a curative value. He was writing in his notepad before, when he was doing research, a shock treatment for a curative value. So that's why he killed himself, to be that shock treatment. That's it.
Just to break Scott Wilson out of it, because it wasn't for, who knows what happened to the other patients.
Oh, no. They're definitely in a gulag somewhere.
Can you imagine a Joe Spinell just roaming around free? Terrifying. Well, that makes a little bit of sense.
A little bit.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, it makes a little bit more sense than this very, very end scene when he's getting back into the car. Yeah. And there's just a voiceover as, where did this necklace come from?
Right. Yes.
And I guess somewhere in the car seat, he finds the freaking St. Christopher medallion.
Okay.
Which proves that there is a God because...
Oh, he left him a sign.
In the back of a NASA car.
Whoa.
Which the NASA car is pointed the other direction, by the way.
Yeah. Guy was just doing donuts out there by the gate, I guess. He is crying again in this last scene.
Oh, yeah.
He is such a, I don't think there's many people like that can just Is there just a bowl of onions?
Inside of his shirt.
He's a big onion fanatic. He's in bed with Big Onion. I have a feeling. There's some money changing hands.
He looks at the medallion, looks at the back to see that, yes, it still has that inscription, in case of an emergency, call a lamb. Or lamb?
I think he says a llama.
A llama, thank you. No, he called him a lamb earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Which he is. He's like the sacrificial.
I mean, seriously, it was a comedy until the third act.
That's exactly right. I don't know if William Peter Blatty borrowed some stuff from movies that had been, you know what I mean? So it does have kind of a 2001 vibe. All these heady concepts of like religion and mental health and space. Don't they play a cool like 70s song at the end?
It's not the same as the beginning, is it? That San Antone song?
Oh, maybe it is. That's like weird. That doesn't even have anything to do with...
No, they play the entire song.
Yeah. That must have been a MASH thing. Like Suicide is Painless, you know, that song. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's the song from MASH.
Sing it for me.
I'm not going to sing it. They freeze frame on a Scott Wilson making a very...
well, he's happy.
Optimistic, but also kind of weird face. So, I don't know.
There's a rainbow round my shoulder, sung by Al Jolson. I guess was that the song that Loja was singing in blackface?
Maybe, but wait a minute. That's weird. You know, I probably waste a lot of time talking about something that just has nothing to do with the movie that we're watching.
So why was this movie so controversial for the studios?
Was it? Did we talk about this? Well, I don't know.
What I read in some of the trivia stuff is that I read that they hated it. They hated the actual final movie, and I think that's probably what made it a little bit more of an obscure movie.
And then what year is this?
It's 1980.
Yeah, 80. I forget that it was made it feels like such a 70s movie, but...
Well, I mean, 1980. It was made probably in 78, right?
Right, of course. But I just think that William Peter Blatty kind of had a blank check after Exorcist. And although, is this the first movie that he directed? I don't think it is. Did he direct a Pink Panther movie? We already talked about this?
I don't think he did here. He has 3 director's credits, and it's just under 9th configuration, Exorcist 3, and then the Legion, which is the so-called director's cut of
Exorcist 3.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a reason there's confusion, because I think a lot of the like plot lines and stuff, you know, spread throughout the original story and part 3. And
obviously they didn't hate him so much if they let him come back and direct Exorcist 3.
I feel exhausted about looking that up, but that was made in 1990. I mean, I guess that script probably existed at some point and just floated around until... But then William Peter Blatty directed that too, right? Part 3?
Correct.
I love Exorcist 3 simply for all of that, again, like, you know, Catholic imagery and iconography, but then all those scenes of just ominous ambient noise and it's slowly ramping up like, and they're showing like a confessional and, you know, roses and blood and... Anyway,
I loved Exorcist 3 as well. I was working at the drive-in.
Oh, man.
We had it at the drive-in, and nobody came to see it.
Yeah, it's boring.
And we had to pull in a second movie to do a double feature to try to get more traffic in. And it still didn't go.
Obviously, it was Money Pit with Tom Hanks and Shelley Long.
I watched it all the time because I was... in the concession stand, or, you know, or I was running the booth and let the owner go home. So I was just hanging out, sitting in the lawn chairs, waiting for the movie to end. So I'd seen it plenty of times.
I mean, I could look it up very easily, but I'm curious how much money it made, what the profit of it was, because I didn't see it until, you know, video. And it's fucking wild, dude. And there's a lot of things that you obviously would have needed to watch The Exorcist to figure out. I mean, I had seen I had read The Exorcist and was still kind of confused about, why Jason Miller was. I almost have Scott Wilson's monologue from that scene memorized because it's so weird and clunky, and he's doing it on purpose because it looks like one of those videos where someone off camera is threatening them and they're just reading it, like somebody's got a gun to his head. Exorcist 3 is really hard it's taken a few viewings for me to understand, why. And
well, it says here, actually, Exorcist 3 made $39 million worldwide.
Couldn't have cost that much to make. There is some really gross, special effects makeup and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When, I guess it's Father Morning?
I think so, yes.
When he is peeled off of the ceiling?
Yeah.
The ceiling.
The ceiling.
I think that was even hard for me. I'm a horror movie fan, and I'm like, is there super glue up there? Or why is that happening?
William Peter Blatty came up with the idea for the movie right after the success of The Exorcist.
Did he direct part 2?
No. He didn't even write part 2.
Okay.
Since he could not convince William Friedkin to film that story, he went on to write a book about it, which became Legion.
Oh, right. So there isn't a second book. That's what I've got to get out of my head is there is no second book. Those 2 movies are loosely based on one book.
And that's what it says is Warner Brothers went on to produce Exorcist 2 without Blatty or Friedkin. So
bad idea, guys. Yep. I think they were like, look, let's get Linda Blair in the blousiest, we obviously need to see her nipples because she's of age right now.
Oh, it's stated here that Exorcist 3 was the favorite film of Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, there you go.
Great.
Yeah. To make you feel good now?
Got good taste. I like that movie too. I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but he's speaking my lingity, if you know what I mean. I feel like we should do Exorcist 3 at some point.
It needs a highlight.
I love it. That scene with the scissor, those giant medical scissors.
This is the scariest moment ever.
That's why I was asking you is that real? Do they really need to just okay, we're going to amputate your leg. Bring out the giant scissors because we're just going to, in one stroke, what would you cut with those?
I don't know. I don't think that would exist in real.
It's just a giant, gardening shears. But anyway, that's the scariest moment of that movie.
Samuel L. Jackson played a blind man in the dream sequence?
Yeah, when they're at Grand Central Station. There's someone else. What if Tony Hawk had been there on a skateboard and he's just doing a rail slide? Let's just see how many people we can get in this. George C. Scott's not in this movie. He does have a huge face.
Did we lose a large face in the 10 years between these movies? So he had to get George C. Scott to fill in the lack of face?
Mm-hmm. Donated his face to science. We need to build a bigger, better face. Dude, I'm looking at William Peter Blatty right now. I guess maybe everybody looked like that. It's just the mustache is a choice, and it's a creepy choice for somebody that looks like William Peter Blatty. That's all I was going to say.
Okay. We'll have more on that next week.
Yeah, exactly. Man, we ought to just jump right into Exorcist 3. We don't even need a...
No better segue than now.
Yeah, exactly. Brad Dourif, Don Gordon, the other cop that I can't pronounce his last name that was in Ninth Configuration. What is his name?
George DeCenzo.
Yeah, DeCenzo. Anyway, there's a shot of Brad Dourif with one of those straw boater hats and a bow tie.
That has been his IMDb pick for years.
That is basically just what a serial killer looked like in 1928 or something.
All right. Do you have anything else to add about Ninth Configuration?
Nope. Great cult movie. I love it. watched it with Chris late one night, and we became obsessed with it. And then it finally came out on video, and I've seen it a lot, and I love it.
I will revisit this again. This will be a film that will go down on some of my favorites list now, because I truly enjoyed it.
Hang on, let me just read this. Gaunt character actor Brad Dourif was born Bradford Claude Dourif on March 18th, 1950. Just needed to get that out. Okay, that's it. Bradford.
All right, then. Let's wrap this up.
Okay. I'm looking forward to doing Exorcist 3. Might not be the next movie, but that fits all the, all the criteria that the loose criteria that I don't even know if the premise of the podcast.
I guess, we're the ones making the rules. We're the ones that can break the goddamn rules.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck all you other guys. We're going to do whatever movies we want. We could do, what's a movie that we wouldn't do, but it would be funny if we said it? Gremlins or something, maybe? Anyway.
All right, signing off?
Yep. That was fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to The Moratorium, an MT Cornfield production. For more fun and stupidity, stay tuned. Next week, Jason and I break down this existential comedy / horror and dive deep into a couple of little-known actors to shed some light on their, well, let's just say, interesting careers. Check out our website for links on everything, including a possible portal to hell, at themoratorium.com. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We appreciate your support. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS.
That was a porno, wasn't it?